When the Son of Man comes in his glory, the Son of Man, what does that mean? I always kind of thought Son of Man, the Hebrew Ben Adam, and it generically means human. I always thought that was like represented Yeshua's humanity, right? And then Son of God was like, he comes from God, straight out of God's bosom. He's one with the Father. Son of Man. But the term Son of God you find in the Tanakh and it's used of Israel, right? It's used even of certain angelic messengers and things like that. So it doesn't necessarily denote deity, the Son of God title. In Yeshua's instance, it is very unique in how it's used because it speaks of Yeshua as having eternally coexisted with the Father. Son of Man. The term Son of Man actually speaks of Yeshua's deity. It speaks of his deity. And the reason I say that, if you'll go with me to Daniel chapter 7, in my vision at night, I looked and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, sovereign power, and all nations and peoples of every language worshipped him. Son of Man. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never end, or will never be destroyed. First off, we see thrones, plural, set up. And we know that Yeshua sits at the right hand of the Father. And it says the Son of Man came on the clouds of heaven. And when you do, if you ever get a chance, research who rides on the clouds in Scripture, that kind of language. It is the God of Israel. So you have this person who he said looks like a son of man, looks like a Ben Adam, riding on the clouds of heaven. He's received into the very being of God, and he receives worship from the nations. Now, does God share his glory with anyone? But this Son of Man, this human, this Ben Adam, receives dominion, power, glory. All the nations worship him, and his kingdom will never pass away. In other words, he has no end. His dominion, his kingdom, his authority will never be destroyed. This is a divine man, taught in the Jewish scriptures. A man who is more than a man. A divine man. Ben Adam. Here, God condones, and in his presence, he welcomes this man who receives worship from all the nations, right? Son of Man.